Leo Hansford from pixelapocalypse.com. I'm here with my good friend, Round Eye Charlie.
That's right. GI.
Yeah.
GI sucky.
As you
I don't even know what that means. Why would a GI sucky? I don't know.
I don't know. As you can tell, we're recording the audio for the Black Ops review. Yay! This is our first video review, and it's going to be pretty awesome. First of all, everyone knows Black Ops. Everyone knows, you pretty much got an idea, but we're going to try to go down the basics and give you a little further look at everything, give you a deeper look in a perspective of it from a couple months after it's been launched. First of all, let's start talking about the campaign. Nathan, you don't really care too much about the campaign. You want to talk about how you feel?
No, I enjoyed the campaign somewhat. I thought it was a little bit tripe, a little bit derivative. It seemed like they took every action movie ever created, cut up the parts they liked, and threw them together into the campaign. I wasn't a big fan of the story. I know a lot of reviewers out there really dug it a lot and thought it was the best story we've seen in a Call of Duty game. I really didn't feel the same way.
I mean, I can understand that. I mean, the first time through, I compared this to Inception, talking to you before. The first time through, it's like Inception. They're hitting you with a lot of information, a lot of different things. Your mind has to process stuff, so you really put everything else on the back burner and you look at the important stuff. And it kind of, the weird inconsistencies kind of get washed out, and you kind of don't notice it too much. But the second time through, you're not going to be too impressed by the story. I wasn't impressed even with being taken in. There are a lot of problems with the characters. There's one mission where you start the mission off, you put glass in the guy's mouth. All right, and you'll be seeing this on the video. Put glass in the guy's mouth. You're punching him in the face to get information from him, and when you punch him, of course, the glass breaks in his mouth, and he helps you escape for some reason. He becomes your friend throughout the mission, and it's really weird. I'll ignore the part where, like, he's speaking perfectly, because if my tongue was cut off, I wouldn't be able to talk. But there's problems like that arise all the time where characters really don't make any sense. Why are they doing this? Since we're on the subject of, character interactions, let's talk about some of the characters that are actually in the game. The important ones are some returning old characters like Dmitry Petrenko. You might not remember him. He was the guy you played as in Call of Duty World at War in the Russian mission. There's also Viktor Reznov, which some of you who were fans of World at War story like myself, you might remember him as the very enthusiastic, very courageous Russian soldier that you meet during the sniper mission in World at War, which a lot of people actually hate. There are also a lot of new characters like Frank Woods, who we can't remember whose voice actor is. He's supposed to be some big guy. There's also Bowman, who is voiced by Ice Cube of NWA and Are We There Yet fame. Anyway, to go more into the gameplay of the campaign, as we said, there's a lot of weird moments where, like, you'll have to punch the guy in the mouth who has glass in his mouth.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of very action-oriented cinematic pieces in the game. Taking the hill in Vietnam was a lot of fun. Shooting down the Soviet rocket, that was fantastic.
A moment that really took me by surprise, it was like, okay, you got me, was the first mission of the game when you have to get in the car and you actually have to drive the car through roadblocks and stuff. But final verdict on the campaign, I think, is I really enjoy the campaign, so that's my stance on it. Nathan, your final verdict on the campaign?
I wasn't that impressed. I found Modern Warfare 2's campaign much more enjoyable, much more replayable.
So what's up with multiplayer in Black Ops?
Well, I mean, it's gotten a ton better with patches. I mean, just the performance in multiplayer matches. At launch, we were seeing a ton of, getting dropped from the lobby, host migrations, issues with getting into games with groups. It was just really, really difficult. And then if you did manage to get into a game, there's a lot of stuttering, a lot of lag. The bullet deviation was kind of broken, hit detection was kind of broken. And while we're still seeing issues in the lobby, as far as host migration and people getting dropped, things of that nature, that's still there. But as far as actual in-game, in a match, it's gotten a ton better. It's just absolutely a blast to play.
The thing is, in game, there's not too much lagging. I mean, Call of Duty gets bad. When it gets bad with the lagging, people are disappearing. You don't really know what's going on. It's really, a frustrating experience. There's not so much of that in the game, but there is this idea that if the connection on one player drops even a little bit, the whole game is going to take a shit, because it even happens towards the end when, like, okay, the game is over and the scoreboard is up, but then you lag out and none of it counted.
Yeah, well, a lot of that is people just turning their Xboxes off. Once you get to that screen where the game's ended and you've claimed a victory and whatnot, and this has happened a lot in wager matches too. People don't want their stats to be fucked up, so they just turn off their Xbox. The Xbox registers, or Xbox Live registers that player got dropped, and they don't count the match.
This is also a big deal since you mentioned wager matches. Let's move on to talk about wager matches. My opinion on wager matches, I think they really add a fresh look to first-person shooters on the console, at least. I mean, these games have existed in PC shooters, which I've been told. I think I heard it in like a Counter-Strike mod, but I'm not completely sure. Don't quote me on that. So the games that there are, I'll explain them really briefly. Gun game is a game where you start off with a revolver, you shoot an enemy, and you move up to the next gun. There are 20 guns. Whoever gets through all 20 guns wins. One in the Chamber is a game where you start off with one bullet in your gun, 3 lives. You shoot someone, you get a bullet back. If you stab them, you take their bullet, so you may have 2 if you haven't used yours. Sharpshooter is a game that every 15 seconds, I believe 15 seconds, I could be off, the guns change, and it randomizes the gun, and it randomizes what attachments are on it. So you could go from having a rocket launcher to Uzis with a thermal scope or something stupid like that. Moving on to Sticks and Stones, which is the last game. Sticks and Stones is a little more complex. You start off with a crossbow and a ballistic knife. If you stab someone, they lose all of their points, and if you kill someone, you get varying amounts of points.
At first, I did think they were somewhat gimmicky, until I actually got into game and played them, and thank you for introducing me to that and making me do that, because they are a lot of fun. Gun game and Sticks and Stones are an absolute blast. Being able to tomahawk somebody and bankrupt them and send them to the bottom of the heap is just, it's like Treyarch sponsored griefing, and I love it. And just the fact that getting tomahawked in general is a little bit embarrassing, it makes you want to do it that much more. The variety of weapons in Black Ops and makes you use weapons that you wouldn't normally in, say, a team deathmatch or a domination or what have you. And that's always a good thing, because certain situations call for certain weapons. So.
Yeah, you definitely get your money worth, in my opinion. And my final verdict on the whole game is definitely go out and buy this game right now. Nathan, how do you feel about it?
This is a game made for the multiplayer crowd. The multiplayer is the best thing about it, and to get your money's worth, you got to be one of those people. If you're not one of those people, stay away from Black Ops.
That's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed our first review. Had a lot of fun doing it. So, Nathan, any final words?
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the review, and there's more to come.
Yeah, if you want to get even more deeper information, check out the full written review at pixelapocalypse.com.